What's up, Doubles? J-dawg back to answer some more goddamn questions. Questions we're going over today are on the video. Starbucks equals a line of canoes and the most complicated beverage order known to mankind. Got that right, goddammit. Every time I go there to order something, they look at me like I'm fucking stupid. I was like, I'm ordering those simple ass fucking thing on your menu. What the hell are you talking about? Ricky Jones. When someone when somebody says buying albums, especially physical albums, is a waste of time, that just screams canoe. I agree, because if they're saying that's a waste of time and money, ask them what they're into. 99 times out of 100, it's the boring ass, mundane, 9 to 5, white picket fence, get married, have kids, and they're miserable as fuck type of lifestyle. 99 times out of a fucking 100, that's what it is. So it's like, what do you spend your money? Or it's something else, something reckless. They're going to the bar, sitting at the bars, fucking buying beers, which is the dumbest shit imaginable to mankind. It's like, literally, if you want to drink, buy fucking the beers and take them back home. What the fuck are you sitting in a bar for, paying literally 100 times markup? Makes literally no sense. Or they're smoking pot all day, just stupid shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you're saying buying records is a waste of money. Meanwhile, you're fucking wasting it on pot and alcohol. It's, okay. So at least at the end of the day, 10 years from now, people that buy physical formats, they'll have something to show for their money. You will have nothing. So like me looking back, like that stuff that I bought 20 years ago, especially when I had it signed and shit at a show, memory fucking lane. It's like, I'm glad I still have this. Nail Black. I may not be a Starbucks canoe, but I am totally a Panini's douche. I love those sandwiches. Yeah, the thing is, Paninis, I like panini sandwiches, but the restaurant Paninis, the problem with it is, you're like, oh, Panini's restaurant, right? Like, man, they specialize in paninis, right? That the panini sandwiches, those flat smash sandwiches with the goddamn grill marks on them, panini, right? They don't even fucking have them. What do you mean, J-dawg? They have them? Not really. They got two kind of panini-ish sandwiches, but it's just kind of like a regular sandwich, and it's like two or three of them. That's it. Total of the whole fucking menu. First time I walked in there, I'm like, what the fuck? Where's the fucking paninis? I was like, it doesn't even make any goddamn sense. I was like, oh, this turkey sandwich that's stacked to the gills. It's fucking like 8 inches high. You can't even get your fucking mouth around it. You're like, how the fuck am I supposed to eat this? Paninis are generally flat. I understand if they want to pack a little bit more, it's a little thick, but it should be kind of like sturdy and shit because it's all melted together because they flat pressed it. They don't have that. If they do, please fucking show me, because I've never gone in there to see it, because that was specifically when I went there. That's what I want to order, is a goddamn panini. I go in there, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not getting this. They have like some sauerkraut like sandwich, and I'm just like, what? Where the fuck is the goddamn paninis? Their pizza's pretty good and their wings is pretty good, but that's what the fuck. I didn't go there to have fucking pizza. I went there to go have a fucking panini. So yeah, the actual sandwiches are pretty good. Just wish the restaurant would sell what they fucking advertise. That's literally like going to Burger King and they don't have fucking burgers. Same goddamn fucking thing. It's like, well, get the word burger out of that fucking title. Just call it goddamn Chicken King if that's all you're gonna sell. Like, what the fuck you talking about? Stupidest shit I've ever seen. And then, yeah, just packs the gills with the fucking douchiest motherfuckers you'll ever see. I know you guys outside of, I don't know if Panini's is only strictly Ohio. Maybe it is. I don't know, because there's multiple of them, so I know it's somewhat of a franchise. But I know it's not USA wide. So wherever the hell they're at, for the guys that don't know, canoes in the fucking high heavens. But it's basically like a sports bar restaurant that has a name of fucking shit they don't even sell. So that's another like strike against them. Jacob Brockman, I love McDonald's black coffee. Did you like the new obituary album? I did not listen to it yet. And to be completely honest, will I? If it comes past me, I probably would. I'm not going to go on my way to listen to it. It's just not nothing against them. I just wasn't. I'm just not really that interested, to be honest with you. Andriel Gabriel, J-dawg, what do you think of Marduk's first album? When there are more death metal, black metal, it's personally my favorite. My favorite Marduk record. Dark Endless, I absolutely love it. I disagree on the point of it being more death metal. Again, I think that people only classify things as black metal if it isn't just totally screechy, fucking monotonous bullshit. It doesn't have to be that. Just because it's got some fucking oomph to it does not mean it's not black metal, in my opinion. Because if that's the case, if you start limiting shit like that by description, it starts. I'm looking down. I'm like, dude, I barely like any black metal. But a lot of the stuff, I'm like, I like this. I like this. I was like, I consider this black metal. I was like, so I consider Dark Endless just a pure black metal album. But for example, like Dark Throne, Soulside Journey, obviously that's like a death metal record. That's to be completely honest with you too. That's why I question how much of those guys are actually fucking posers. Is from the start, it's like, dude, what kind of music are you guys? And anyone else would have been fucking crucified. I was like, you start off as a death metal band, then you're a black metal band, then you did this like kind of like really half-assed black metal around the early 2000s. What was it? Was it that the what albums were coming around in the early 2000s? I remember when it first came out, Hell's was just started, and we would get them in wholesale and shit. I think from maybe like Cyclone Empire. I remember that'd be the last stuff I started checking out my Dark Throne. I'm like, these new Dark Throne albums fucking suck. They were still like black metal, but it just seemed like the biggest batch of fucking half-assedness I've ever fucking heard in my life. Forget which ones. It wasn't. Was it Hate Them? I don't. Maybe it was. I can't remember. Whatever the 2000, 2001-ish, 2003-ish era was when they're putting stuff. I was like, this is the most half-assed junk I ever heard. Then they completely changed their sound. They're doing fucking punk, and then do they basically have a country album out now? It's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, well, they could do what they want to do. Yes, they technically can, but why is it that they get the fucking pass? And I've already had this conversation many times. Again, if Cannibal Corpse did that, people would throw them on the bus. What are these posers doing? If anybody else did it, they'd be completely crucified. So it makes no fucking sense whatsoever. And for me, as a fan, for example, if Cannibal Corpse, like, they put out a different style of music, like we're going to put out a melodic black metal album, them being my favorite band, I would call them out too. But what are you guys doing? Even if the music was still pretty decent, I'm like, start a new band. That's why I call Carcass out all the time. I thoroughly enjoy Heartwork. I think it's a really good album. The only song I don't like on there is No Love Lost. I think that song pretty much blows chunks. But the rest of the album, I actually like it quite a bit. Always have since I was a kid. But I've always said, I was like, dude, this is not a Carcass record. You guys needed to change your fucking name. So I called them out just because I'm a fan of them. Doesn't mean I don't. So, yeah, Dark Endless. To be completely honest with you, of the Marduk albums without Legion, because you guys know my favorite shit is Legion, Dark Endless is definitely my favorite Marduk without Legion. That's a fucking banger. Still Fucking Dead. That's one of the greatest black metal songs ever fucking written, as far as I'm concerned. Goddamn question marks in here, fucking devils. Everybody's talking about their goddamn coffee. Heavy metal zombie pilot. Hey J-dawg, any chance that Hells would be able to get pharmacist t-shirts? Dude, it's funny you bring that up. I've been on Chase's ass because he's the one in contact with him. I don't even have their email. Most of these bands we release because actually full disclosure, I fucking meant to show them on today's video. I just got sidetracked. I'll show them. Yeah, tomorrow's video. Just came in. LPs, goddamn it, the second pharmacist that we put out. So we're working with the band. And I told Chase 2 years ago now when we first got permission to work for him, like we got permission to do the LP and cassette of their second album before it was even recorded. Like, yeah, you guys can do the next one, right? I don't know why the hell we didn't get to do the CD, but whatever the case was. I never been in contact with them. Don't have their contact. Don't even know which guy he's in contact with. But that's the way it is for 90% of the bands because that's not my department. He does that. Last thing I need is more shit to fucking do. So I specifically told him, I was like, ask them if we could do pharmacist t-shirts, like official Hell's Merchandise pharmacist t-shirts. I was like, especially the first album, Medical Renditions of Grinding Decomposition. T-shirts of that. He says he asked, but they didn't reply. I smell some fucking bullshit. Or it was his half-ass fucking ass, and the guy forgot to reply. I'm like, well, okay, ask him again. Because here's the thing is, what do you mean he didn't reply? It's like, well, we just got our LPs in. He's going to want his copies, right? Just wait until he replies then. Like, hey, man, just hold his copies off. Hold his copies off to the side. You know what I mean? LPs are in, bro. Need your address. By the way, we want to do t-shirts for that same thing. When he responds, here's my address. If he doesn't answer the t-shirt question, hey, bro, what about the fucking t-shirts? Keep asking. If he says no, I don't know why they would say no. I mean, it's not like they dislike us. Why the fuck would they dislike us? I mean, we were working with them. They said yes to the LPs. And, whoa, somebody else is doing the shirts. They are. I've never seen them. Put in the comments. If there's pharmacist shirts, especially black t-shirts, nothing fucking stupid, of the first album cover, preferably with a slick looking back, I don't know what I put on the back yet, but figure something out. Let me know. I've never seen them. I've never seen them for sale anywhere. So why say no? If nobody else is doing them, you're already working with us. No, we're solid. No, we're good for it. No, you're not. We're not going to dick us, and we're not going to dick you. Why would he say no? Doesn't make any sense. So I think that's just it was kind of a fucking half-ass chasey fucking email. But he says he asked. That's where we're at because I wanted one for myself, and I've never even seen a pharmacist T-shirt of anything, like even just a logo, nothing. So I tried, but I mean maybe I'll push for it again. But I definitely asked him twice, and that was the response I get, which didn't make sense to me personally. But a lot of the responses I get around here don't. Kelly McKay, I got a question for the dog. What are your views on hunting and fishing, stuff like that? Where I'm from, a lot of people are into that kind of stuff, that kind of shit. Love the channel and HH Distro. Fastest shipping, best packing, all around awesome. Thanks, dog. You got it, brah, brah. Um, I mean, hunting and fishing, I mean, I think it's a great activity. It's a necessary one, for survival. And if the fucking world goes all to shit like some of these, scaredy cats think it's going to, it's going to be, all right, well, at least I can hunt and fish and garden. It's like, yeah, you're right. If it does come to that, I don't think it will, at least not my lifetime. Then yeah, you have the one up on everyone. I personally don't partake in it just because it's not my interest. I have no interest. My dad was always into that stuff, but for me, it just bores the hell out of me. I'd rather just go buy the shit and that be that. But yeah, I think it's a useful tool slash hobby. It's damn sure a hell of a lot more productive and better hobby than sitting at the goddamn bar. That's for goddamn fucking sure. So yeah, nothing against it. I think it's very very useful. Glad people do it because hell, that's how I get my shit right. So, but I don't. I never partaked in it. It wasn't something I was interested in doing. Paul Krayatz. I figured some of us devils have met and talked to band members. About tons of bands, yeah. From some of our favorite bands on tour. Anyone you met that was super friendly? Yeah, I mean, other than the Matt Harvey's, Raw Sewage, I mentioned, Danny Nelson from Malignancy. Nobody was there. I haven't met too many fucking dicks, but as who came off as super friendly. Other than the ones I mentioned. Who else am I forgetting? I mean, Shane Von Gould from the Lurking Corpses, but I don't know if I really count him because he's kind of like, I don't know if we're like best friends, but we're kind of friends. so, so I've hung out with him several times. So it's almost like I almost look at him, almost him like as a buddy, than rather than I'm meeting a fan of being a fan of the band. Because I kind of like met him right after I heard the band. I heard Lust for Blood. They came into the distro, loved it, and I saw them live maybe a few months later. So it was kind of like this new band, and met them. They got along with them super cool. But nonetheless, if you never met him, yeah, Shane Von Gould, definitely one of the coolest human beings I've ever met. Super friendly, cool guy. Fucking just laughs at everything. Um, uh, yeah, so from actual bigger bands and stuff like that, Cannibal Corpse, I can honestly say Alex Webster, and specifically Alex Webster and Corpse Grinder, they were very friendly, for sure, very, very friendly. Who would be like that from, yeah, bigger, more nostalgic type bands? Bands like Immolation and stuff, they didn't really say a whole lot, especially Bob. He wasn't a dick, he just didn't have much to say. Um, Yeah, like when I met fucking Danny Phil, same thing. Just hey man, could get my shit signed and a photo. He's yeah. But did not much to say. Never met the guys in Carcass. Morbid Angel didn't have a bad experience. Again, it was kind of quick and nothing eventful. Because I met Trey and Steve and Petey. I never met Cowboy Hat Davy Boy. Never met him, and at this point, I have zero fucking interest. To be honest with you, if he was there, if I heard he's at a show or whatever, I don't even think I would go up to him at this point. I doubt I would, to be honest with you. That guy, yeah, he's borderline fucking disgrace. I'm, obviously King Foley, but again, I kind of put him more in like I don't look at him like that when I'm making a Cannibal Corpse guys because I mean, like I literally have the guy's fucking phone number. I can text him right now if I wanted to. You know what I mean? But when I first met him and I didn't know him, which was I met him in 2000 for the first time. He stood out as very, very friendly, energetic, enthusiastic. Uh, not some mundane guy walking around with a goddamn stick up his ass, right? So King Foley would be another one. And I'm sure there's some others I'm completely forgetting, but there's some for you. Speaking of King Foley, what's this guy saying? Spurger King. Any Devils catch King Foley on heavy metallurgy last night? Question mark. No, I don't. I don't know what that is. I was able to catch the tail end of it. Fun time talking shop on horror movies, comics, and metal. Yeah, isn't like King just all over social media in general? I don't know because I don't have it, but that's what I've heard. So I don't put it in there. I don't, because I'm unsure, but that's just what I've been told. Goddamn, man, everybody talking about goddamn coffee in here. I need question marks, Devils. Little over 90. Question: what would it take to get you to start a cassette collection? Um, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of just not that interested in starting a new format. And tapes, I just even when I had some, I was never passionate about them because they're like so small and stuff. I'm like, why would you want a small cover? I want a bigger cover. You know what I mean? Especially when it's cool fucking art. Imagine like Serpents on a Light or something. Like, why do I want this squished down into a tiny little rectangle that you're like kind of squinting to see? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me. And the fact that they wear out, and I know they wear out because when I had a car, my first car I bought when I was 17, it had a cassette player, and I specifically had, any cassettes that I would get, or you could buy them cheap because at that time that was when I was 17. That would have been 2002. So cassettes weren't back yet, you know what I mean? But you could buy like early albums. Like I think literally the first four Deicides, I bought them on an eBay lot at that time, 2000. The only reason I would have bought them is for my car. I bought them on an eBay lot for like all four tapes for $10 because like tapes, nobody bought tapes. I mean, one of my tape stores to give you an idea, right around that time, Hell's offered tapes. Like we had them for sale on our website. These were the very early days of Hell's, right? But we had like maybe, I don't know, 10 or 12 titles, right? And like nobody ever bought them. You'd sell like one like a month or some shit. I remember, I'm almost positive it was Radio Damnation, one of my favorite live albums, studio live albums, but still one of my favorite live albums by Nunslaughter. And I was at Don's house. I've known Don maybe a year or two at this time. Went up to his house several times for business transactions, picking stuff up, dropping shit off. Seemed like I was always the meetup guy. But anyways, I was at his house. We're kind of shooting the shit, and he had a big stack of Radio Damnation cassettes. And he's like, yeah, so I think it was a Malaysian label that put them out. I'm like, oh, I was like, they did Radio Damnation on tape. He's like, yeah, dude. I mean, this fucking Malaysian label wanted to do them, and I'm like, yeah, what? He's like, I guess. He's like, what do I say? He's like, if I say no, they're probably just going to bootleg it anyway. So I said, yeah. So those were his royalty copies. He's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do with these things. He's like, do you guys sell tapes? It's like, you kind of do. I was like, but they barely sell. He's like, exactly. Like, if I put this up at a show, he's like, who the hell's going to buy a tape? He's like, as a matter of fact, you know what? He growls. He's like, just take these fucking stupid things. He's like, I don't even want them. He's like, just sell them on your website. Just keep whatever the money is. They want to put them at $5, whatever you want to do. Just keep it all. These things are just my way. So what am I going to do with them? That's literally where tapes were in the early 2000s. So, so, but yeah, with that being said, because I was playing them in my car and shit, some of them they would wear out because I had probably about, because I would dub some cassettes, like put from CD to those dub cassettes you got in Walmart, the blank cassettes, the 120-minute ones, I think it were. I put like two albums on there, one on side A, one on side B. Between those and ones I bought, I had the Manicore, Ritual Cleansing, the Horror demo, things like that, stuff that was handed to me around that time frame. I had maybe 50 cassettes in my car, and I drive every single day. At that time, I was working at the Tupelo Systems. It was a half-hour drive one way, so I had an hour drive. Literally, you figure 5 hours of driving minimum per week. That's just going to work. That's not counting any other activities, going to the store or whatever. So at least 5 hours of driving a week, right? 50 tapes, that's not that much. So you listen to a lot of them again and again and again and again, right? And they would wear out. And I knew that prior to the time. They would go through the phase. The first would sound like you stored them at the bottom of the fucking ocean. And then after that, they'd go, would just stretch out. And then eventually they were just complete useless junk. So that was another reason for format. Squint to see it, tiny as fuck. And then also it's going to eventually wear out. I'm like, well, why do I want this format? This format just seems kind of useless to me. So I just was never big on it ever personally. So that's why I never gotten into collecting it. Just had it for car listening. Car just the easiness. You know what I mean? Well, the convenience. The fucking word I was looking for. Car listening convenience was the only reason I had them at any point. And then when I got my next car, it had a CD player, so I didn't need them. Didn't need them anymore. Tapes were still out of style. And then they came back maybe like a few years after that, maybe around what, 2010, 2012, something around there. And the only reason why I was kind of interested in getting a tape player, which was what kind of, what would intrigue me to start a tape collection, to answer your question, but it wasn't enough to even get me to, was a lot of cool bands were coming out, like when Cemeterian was coming out, they put their demo tape out. Caustic Phlegm last year, demo tape out. You know what I mean? So a lot of good shit that was cassette only. We get stuff in. I'm like, fuck, this looks like it's straight from 1990 or 1991. Never heard of this band. Like to listen to it, but don't have a tape player. There's definitely been some bummers on that. But the way I look at it, I was like, year or two now, somebody will put it on a 7-inch or a CD, and that's how I'll hear it. So I'll just be a little bit late to the game. I was like, that's fine. I got plenty of shit to listen to in the meantime. But that was the thing that kind of intrigued me. If I was to get a tape player, I was like, yeah, there's a lot of cool shit, new bands coming out. It looks like, at least just by judging a book by its cover, I'm like, fuck, shit all looks like it's up my goddamn alley. That was the only thing that's kind of intriguing. But everything else is like, I had no goddamn interest for it. Come switch the synergy, you know what we're going to do. Put the guy's boss getting on spring morning. Later, goddamn it.